I come from an aviational background. Uh, Now, here's something fun to know. When you get down from New Zealand and you go south into the McMurdoch station, what is the Million Williams Field? They have an airfield there, okay, and they have approach plates and so forth. But that's the only navigational aid that they have from Williams Field then to the rest of the world. Like, let's say if you take a flight from New Zealand and you want to go to Williams Field, then you just go. You can do that approach. You can do that vector. But then yet, if you go south of Williams Field on Antarctica, there is no more navigational aid. Do you know what would happen to you if you went on an airplane and you took off from Williams Field and you started going south? I want somebody to answer that question. What would happen to you? And I know what would happen, but I want somebody else to answer it. Thank you. Listen very well here. So, if you go from New Zealand and you go south to Williams Field, which is in Antarctica, at the McMurdoch Station,
Sure.
okay, which is the only thing that they have in Antarctica, all right, and you decide that you want to, now they have approach plates to go into Williams Field, but if you decide that you wanted to take an airplane and you go south of Williams Field, what would happen to you? That's the question. I want to get an answer to that
Uh,
question. What would happen to you if you keep going south?
that's a good question. That's what we want to know.
Hey, so
Oh,
just wanted to,
I got the answer. I wanna hear the answer from somebody else. I know what would
Oh,
happen.
so you've flown that path before?
No, but I've been a pilot for over 30 years, so I'm just letting you
So
guys know
so
what
did
I
you
know the
did
answer.
you use a training program, or I mean, what's your experience with flying south of McMurdo?
No, I don't have that experience. I've never even been down to Antarctica. I've all my flying's been in the United States. I just want to I want to answer to the question.
Well,
What would
well,
happen if you flew from south of Williams Field in Antarctica
right.
and you flew south of that? What would happen to
Well, that's the $1 million question, right? So on a globe, everybody thinks that you would eventually go north, but if you're going south, you're going further and further away from north.
I can give an answer as well if you want.
So if you
I'll
think it's a
just give you the
globe, if you want
I'll give you the
if you want
answer.
the globe answer is eventually you would start going north.
Well,
I
the
do have
globe,
an answer. If I,
the
you want to give your
go
answer
ahead.
first?
Well, real quick, before we get in that Superfly, if I'm not mistaken, you believe the Earth is flat, right?
Yeah, I'm a flat earther, but go ahead. I want to hear the answer from the other guy.
Okay. I'm going to take a stab at it. It might not be 100% right, but from what I believe, the ILS, the internal system, which basically have their gyros, they will be able to detect the particular rotation that the actual plane has been through in its path from its last, I guess, waypoint. And I would imagine that it figures out whether or not it's gone left or right according to its gyros internally, and how much it has curved over towards the South Pole. That would be my response on aeroplanes from a very short-term perspective. Sorry, I misspoke before. I said ILS. I meant IRS. Sorry, the internal referencing system.
Ken, you know anything about it?
I don't know shit about flying. Sorry. We need a new perspective in here. That's what we need.
We got any? Well, we do have the pilot down there.
secondly, when the buddy asked about what would happen as you fly, he didn't ask anything about your computer systems or what guess you were going to make about what that computer system might do, because nobody's ever done it. So you don't actually know. You're just kind of making shit up.
Well, no, I know what would happen. I'm not
No, I'm
making
talking about the Australian who was just
anything
stabbing
up.
in the dark about what he thought
Sorry,
the
about
computer
Yeah.
what?
system and the gyro
You
would
talking
do.
about
Well,
me
let me
about the
let me let me
IRS?
well let me explain to you what would happen. One is that if you went south of Williams Station or Williams Airfield, you'd crash because you have no navigational aid. You have no vectors. You have nothing to help you out. So where will you go? You're just gonna go out into this whiteness out there, and you're gonna end up crashing.
What sort of
There's
answer is that?
nothing
Oh,
to
you just crash. What sort of
navigation.
answer is that? That's
N-
just, oh, that's weak. You mean, like, I thought you were actually going to give me a decent answer.
You
You just said
own
crash.
Well, you crash. You have nothing. You have
Oh,
nothing. You have no way of
help us! We're
navigating.
going to crash.
You
Fuck
have
it out.
your guy. Your guy. Listen. 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 I've been doing this for a long time. Okay. If you have no navigational aid, you won't know where you're going.
Yep,
You'll
GPS.
end up crashing. You'd be IFR, and where would you be IFR? Then you'd have no vectors to get to where you need to go. So eventually you'd just crash.
What,
You wouldn't have you just crash.
what type
There's
of
no other way
airplanes
of
did you
putting
say
it.
you flew? Are
That's
you
about the
flew ones?
simple.
Are you flying ones with regular gyros or ring laser gyros like the jets? Which
Say
airplane
what?
which airplanes did you say you fly? Are you flying the ones with the air based gyros, or are you talking about the ring laser gyros?
Listen.
What plane?
I don't understand what kind of gyros.
Yeah. Are you flying little planes
Give
which have like vacuum
no
gyros, or are you flying big jets which have like ring laser gyros? Which type of plane?
the jets.
Okay, so it would have a ring laser gyro in it, correct?
Right, but we have two of them.
Okay,
We have the vacuum. Okay, now look, hold on.
sure.
So there is no now. So there is nothing nothing south. There's no point that you would get to. There's no other field. There's no. So you'd have to. Nobody ever circumnavigated the Earth from underneath. There's not been a pilot. I don't know anybody that has, or I never heard of a pilot
Sorry, there
that
was
can
one final orbit in
circumnavigate. Oh,
2019. Sorry, not one
who?
final orbit, one more orbit in 2019. It happened. They went down the South Pole, then they jackknifed and turned up towards, I think, South America or something.
They
But I
checked.
mean, if you've got a ring laser gyro in the jet that you're flying,
That's
they've got an internal reference
that's
system.
no. Listen, that's not even true, bro.
It fucking is.
They
It
made that
happened
shit up just like
2019. Look it
them.
up. Come on, don't be bullshitting me. It happened 2019.
Yeah. All right. Okay. You're
You
right.
can't just go, nah, that's just pathetic. Go up and look at it. 2019, one
Jack,
more orbit. Don't go, nah, that's a bad answer. And don't say, oh, they'll just crash. Another bad answer. It's pathetic.
hey, I just put the flight path of that flight you're talking about up there in the jumbo. So good luck. Why did they do a jackknife again? Why do they got to do a jackknife? They're going around in a ball.
Because in the southern hemisphere, we've got three continents, right? We've got the South American continent, we've got the Australian continent, and we've got the African continent. And they're not like pointing each other. They're pointing each other just like the way, like the what's that bloody thing in Back to the Future? The flux capacitor, right? So all continents are like jackknife from each other. There's only one instance where you might be able to get a good light straight line, and I think that might be from Buenos Aires to Perth. But that was not the way that this particular flight went. It went up. I think it flew from Mauritius, which is the east of Africa, and it went up over the top of Chile. So that was the reason why they jackknifed, is because they were trying to run those two continents themselves. Maybe in the future, maybe they might actually do one that goes through Perth and then through Inner Mongolia or something like that. But this particular one from 2019 jackknifed because it went from Africa to South America.
you look at the one thing that would prove the globe Earth, or the one thing that would disprove the flat Earth, what is it?
I don't know. You tell me.
It would be a linear flight path, okay? A linear traverse directly down past South America, down to Antarctica, and without breaking that straight linear path, continuing through the continent and back up the other side into the Indian Ocean. Like, this would literally end the debate. It would be the single biggest piece of evidence for the global model.
They've done it already. It was called One More Orbit.
Right. Except they actually didn't look at their flight path. So they left off the tip off South Africa. They went to the 90-degree South Pole mark. And then they literally hit a sharp 60-degree turn towards South America. They never crossed over. They didn't even alternate sides of the hemisphere. They evaded a linear path.
My God. What the hell? No, it can't be.
Yeah, man, I know. Globers will still refer to the One More Orbit expedition as if it disproves anything. Meanwhile, they never really look into the intricacies of anything. This is exactly why they just believe whatever they're told.
Brian, just before you play that, I actually can't see it in that last one, the Jumbotron. I've only got 2 dots, so I don't know if you can reshare it or something like that. And my only other comment about it is when I was listening to it just then, there was strange conspiracy sounds in it. And I think that as soon as you hear a video and it's got strange conspiracy sounds in it, I think you probably should just maybe go to the source.
That was
That's usually a leading indicator to what you're watching is maybe a little bit twisted or a little bit warped in decision making.
That was actually the end of a commercial.
Okay, so you got that from you got that video directly from the source of One More Orbit, or you actually got that from someone on TikTok? Because I heard that TikTok sound at the end went bloop.
What's the conspiracy?
So it sounded very conspiracy-like.
Here's the deal with that. So here's the deal with that. I understand that you might be skeptical with some evidence, and that's fine. I like Eli said there, man. If you just go, oh, I'm just gonna go believe Brian, I don't want that shit either. I'm not looking for a bunch of followers or anything like that. All I'm doing is saying, hey, this is the evidence presented. You yourself said they made a jackknife. In that video, it said why they made the jackknife, because they didn't go in a straight linear path and go around the globe. But it's up there. If you can't see it, I'll post it down in the purple peel here again.
Yes,
you might have to.
I said the jackknife happened, but when you can get words that come out of someone who's positive about the project, and you can get words out of someone who's negative about the project. You've got to decide who is trying to just shit on them and who's trying to say, oh, it's awesome.
I'm not trying to be negative or positive. I'm neutral here. I just want the right answers, and that's all anybody should. You shouldn't have a bias either way. You should just be able to look at the evidence and say, hey, this either worked or didn't work, and what we got going on there in that video is the flight path.
Yeah, well, you just go to the source then. That if you want unbiased information, you go to the source. You go to the people who flew it. But like I agree. Like I said before, if they did one from Argentina to Perth and then they were up through in Mongolia, it's a better.
I thought that was going to be quicker than it was. We'll get back to that. I'm not trying to stop the conversation or anything like that. It's just that I want to play this video real quick, and then we're going to get to Lily real quick. And then I want to repost that video so you can look at the flight path there, so you can tell me.
If anyone is kind enough to just give me a quick little summary of what I missed, I'm so sorry.
He's right here. He's here. What's up, Supa Fly? What happens if you keep on flying? He just got a mic back. See if he's. Are you with us, Supa Fly?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, now.
Okay, thanks. I just said that you would end up crashing, because there's no navigational aid past the point of Williams Field. But at that gentleman earlier said that they went down to like the as south as they could get, and then they had to do a jackknife. Why? Because they're going to run out of fuel. They just kept seeing nothing but white underneath them. They're going to run out of fuel. They don't know how many miles it is across, or they're just like, I don't know. They're just making shit up. It's the only thing I could think of. I mean, I've never been down that way. I've never flown down that way. I've only flown in the United States, and that's where I'm at. I don't even know myself. But when he said, well, they had to do a jackknife, well, that tells me right there is because they probably got to a point of hey, we better like make a right turn and get back to where we can get fuel. That's probably what it was, if anything.
Hey, I think if Will Duffy wants to make sure that you guys win the final experiment, he'll put Whitsett and Jaron in your plane to make sure that you crash on the way down there. Then the flat Earth wins the final experiment.